Here we go. Hi, my name is Tammy Gerke, a couple adventures.com, and a couple adventures on YouTube. And this is hashtag Creative Innovators Interview. Today we have AJ Morrone, who is also at Sonic Ninja 8 AJ on Pearson, and Sonic Ninja on Instagram.
Correct.
So AJ, if you'll do me a favor, if you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Who you are, what you do, what kind of art you do.
Okay.
Go.
All right. So I like to intro by myself. I usually go, "Hey, buddies," which I stole from some other scopers, which I thought was hilarious, and somehow it became my kind of intro thing now. If you know Lenny Jacobson, I kind of took it from him, who took it from Joe Spina. But that's besides the point. So I'm Sonic_Ninja on all my social media. AJ Morrone. I am a comic book artist. I like to draw superheroes, anything cartoon related, anything pop culture. I love Star Wars, things like that. So that's really what I'm about. I first started drawing after a 15-year hiatus. I went to New York Comic Con a few years ago, and I met some of my favorite comic book artists, and I told them that I used to draw when I was in high school and in the beginning in college, and I had just kind of stopped doing it altogether, and they all kind of inspired me to get back into drawing again. So I went on, I went on YouTube, and I searched some how-to drawing videos, and I came across a gentleman by the name of Evan Burst, who goes by Cartoon Block on YouTube, and I watched some of his videos and learned the basics of like the superhero anatomy again. And then after that, I found some videos of Todd Knock, who's one of my favorite comic book artists, and I started drawing on Post-it notes, and got obsessed with Post-it notes and bought every color Post-it note that you could think of, and now I'm just, kind of getting back into the swing of things.
So you said you've done this since you were in high school.
Right.
Are comics something that you've always drawn, or did you start off with a different a different creative outlet and you ended up with comics?
I think growing up as a kid, first I would read comics, and then from reading the comics, it gave me the interest to want to draw. My mom is the artist in the family, and she kind of helped me out and always gave me constructive criticism. I think it's important to not just look at every piece that a person draws and says, "Oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever seen." Like, you should definitely offer some criticism, or you're never going to improve. You're never going to get better.
So you've had a positive what's the word I'm looking for? You've had positive reinforcement with your creativity throughout your life.
Yeah.
So has your mom always been like that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I've never taken my work to any artist to get critiqued, and I just kind of realized that now. I know it's a big step in taking your work to the next level, is bringing your work to artists, but I've never really felt that I was good enough or ready for that, so I actually haven't done that yet, and I think I may attempt to do that in 2017. Would be one of my goals, to try that out.
So what are your sources of inspiration? I mean, you read comics, so obviously that's a source of inspiration, but do you gain inspiration from pieces that maybe are not comic book related?
I do. I like to go, since I live in New York. We have a ton of museums. I like to go to the Museum of Natural History. I like to go to the Met, and I'll walk around with a sketch pad. And I mean, I grew up liking pick any of the Ninja Turtle names. I like those artists, like Da Vinci and things like that. So that was, for me, was kind of like my initial inspiration. In like the really traditional art. Like, I don't just drawing from life, is the most important thing to me, to get that foundation in your artistic style, to develop your own style. drawing from life, seeing what's around you. Like when you were sitting in your yard earlier today, I could see just, the colors, anything like that. I draw inspiration from, really.
So you're not limiting yourself to just comic books. You're stepping outside and gaining inspiration from everything that's around you. Old school artists, new artists, contemporary artists. Okay.
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah, because even
I love that.
Yeah, because even if you want to be a comic book artist, it's not all about drawing superheroes. You can't really make a living just drawing characters. Like if you're doing a book, you have to draw. There's a lot of architecture and landscapes and things like that. Knowing how to draw vantage points and drawing, everything would be boring if it was just two people standing next to each other. There has to be a lot of things going on in the background.
That's a great point, because I know as kids you think, okay, I'm going to draw Spider-Man, I'm going to draw Batman, and we focus on just drawing that character.
Right.
But we have to know, as you said, how to do perspective, how to do landscaping and doing the thirds, those things that you think, okay, they don't have anything to do with comic books.
Sure.
Really do have a lot.
Right. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
That's cool. So, all right. So now on to, we all have, troubles with motivation, focus, procrastination, having too many projects going at one time.
Right.
Perfection. How do you deal with those things when they rise?
How do I deal with, I can tell you from personal experience that you have to go with whatever creativity strikes you at any given moment. For example, I can go days on end not taking my own advice, which is trying to draw every day, and just sit and veg out and make excuses like, oh, I came home from work and now I'm tired and I can't sit down and draw. So anytime the moment strikes for you to draw, you should use it and draw as long as you can. Like for example, I did a comic convention recently with my friend Dave, and it was I think maybe from like 9 until 7, and you know what, I could have sat there that entire time and just drew characters for people all day, and I could have even went even further than that. Like I just when I'm in the moment and I'm enjoying myself, I never get tired. But when I come home and it's time to sit down, it's a whole other ball game, And I think that the reason why I didn't pursue drawing like as a profession is because when you add deadlines to something, it kind of makes it more work for me than actually having fun. And I think that kind of ruined it for me for a long time. So now I've gotten that mindset out of my brain, and I think that it is a good technique to try to schedule times to draw, even if you just draw. I don't care if you just draw a flower or whatever. Just get your hand moving. Work out the kinks. So that for me is what I've been doing lately. Really pushing myself. Sometimes I'm going to want to draw every day. We're human. We want to just veg out and be lazy, but it's if you want to take your work to the next level, then you have to do that. You just have to.
And that actually takes me to the next question. As I was going to ask you, when did you decide that you want to share your work with the world? You start off as a kid and you want to, do all these drawings, but sharing them with people to get constructive criticism,
right,
and even negative, critiquing on, the shape is not quite right, your proportions are not quite right. Once you get past that, okay, so first question, actually, first part of the question, sharing your work with those people that you trust,
right?
How do you get to that point? And then secondly, you said you had that mentality where you didn't want to do this as a profession because of the deadlines. Have you gotten to the point where now excuse me, where now you are in that stage of your art career that you do want to do that, and what do you do about it?
Right. Well, I think you know me better than a lot of people, like through social media on here, and that to put it bluntly, I just don't give a crap. when it comes to who likes my stuff and who doesn't like my
Mhm.
stuff. And you kind of have, if you can go at it like that and realize that not everybody is going to like what you do. Not everyone's going to look at the way I draw Batman and think, oh my God, this is an awesome Batman. People are going to look at it with no artistic ability of their own and say that Batman sucks because they like something different. And that's totally fine. You know, that's totally to them. So I really think that you just have to, you know, take the positive encouragement that you get from the people that do like your stuff, and realize that the people that don't like your stuff, you just have to just let it roll right off your shoulder and just keep moving forward.
And so what has made you move into the next step and the next level of you now maybe wanting
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, are you getting to the point where now you want to sell your artwork, or you want to have a broader audience? Are you getting to that point?
Yeah, but I think I'm trying to have fun as I go along. That's like the most important thing over anything else for me, because I do have a full-time job, and I do this in my spare time, and I really don't have any aspirations really to do this as a career, which I know if some of you do, you can apply what I'm going to say to doing just that. But just make sure you're having fun. Start off easy. Don't take it too seriously, and you'll see that as you progress as an artist, your stuff is just going to naturally get better. And even though you're going to be your own worst critic and you're going to look at it and think, oh my God, this sucks, you know, there's always someone out there who is your greatest fan. And you just have to realize that, you know, like for me, one of my inspirations is just making kids happy and drawing cartoon characters, because kids will tell you, like my friend Dave said, like if they don't like it, they're going to tell you right away. And when I drew a couple things for kids, I saw that they were really digging it. That made me really happy, and that made me really want to push harder.
I agree. I think you've got to have the fun in whatever your creative outlet is. You've got to hold on to that fun. And I also agree with you too, is that, you know, some creatives, we want to make a living out of our creativity, you know, whether we're writers or we're musicians or whatever, but some of us don't really want that. We want to keep this as, you know, our fun time, and we don't mind, okay, if we've got a full-time job and this is what we're doing for our fun time, that's fine, but we can still continue to grow, to progress, to better our you know, improve on our skills.
Sure.
And that's it's an ongoing process.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, were you nervous or excited when you first, you know, started sharing your work with the world? I mean, how did you feel? You know, I know for some of us, it's kind of terrifying.
I didn't really look at it like that, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to act all tough or macho or anything, but I mean, when it comes to art, I don't find it to be scary or intimidating, because like you said, I'm just trying to have fun. So like I can really, you know, I can pick fun at myself, and you know, I have a group of friends that I know, you know, are there for me, and they have my back, and I don't let all that stuff. I just don't let that stuff bother me, you know, maybe because I'm a little bit older and wiser, but you know, I think if any new artist, young artist, well, it really doesn't matter what age, but just you know, go into it with that mindset that you're just trying to have fun, and take it from there. And don't be nervous. There's really nothing to be nervous about. You know, like your art is always going to improve. Like you can draw something, and I drew something the other day and I thought it was crap, but you know what? I saw where I can do better, and I just I know that I can do better. And what I'm working on right now is really trying to work faster, so I can crank more stuff out, so I can do more work for more people, like when I do my appearances, for example.
So you've got the basic skills down. Now you're just working on speed, getting them down as quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on, is speed right now. Yeah, speed without losing quality.
Right. What kind of advice would you give to someone who doesn't feel that they're creative, or that, you know, is just kind of thinking about, oh, I would love to start drawing comics. I don't know where to start, or it has so many different ideas of things. You know, they want to comics, anime, you know, right, the manga. There's so many different styles. I would imagine you'd pick the one that speaks to you the most, but you know, it's still maybe a little bit intimidating. What kind of advice would you give to someone who maybe doesn't feel like they can even draw a stick figure?
Well, that's definitely true. And you know what? There's some people have more of an artistic ability than others, but I've seen, a lot of people who can't draw at all. There, it takes longer for some than others because some people have the maybe they're just really good with like the hand-eye coordination. What they and you know what, a lot of it has to do with what you're seeing, processing it in your brain, and then putting it on paper. So some people are better at that than others, but I think that you should really like try to do a really broad range of exploring art, especially if you want to do comic book style. Don't just look at comic book style. Look at a lot of other avenues too. Like the biggest advice that I gave a friend of mine was we were all trying to develop our own style. Okay, actually, this is a good story. We were all trying to develop our own style, and I know that when I first started drawing again, I was drawing work from other artists that I liked. So, for example, some famous comic book artists go by the name of Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane or Todd Knock. I was just drawing exactly what I saw from them. And you know what? You'll get called out on that because people are saying, "Oh, wow, that's a nice Jim Lee Batman you drew there." So after a while, that was getting frustrating to me. So what I realized was I was going to draw from life, and in this case, I would take, like, if I wanted to draw like a Supergirl, I would look for a costumed person dressed as Supergirl and draw her. Now I'm drawing a real person dressed as the character, so it has no choice but to be in the style that I draw because I'm drawing what I see. I'm not drawing someone else's drawing. So that was a really good life lesson for me, is to really draw from life.
So recommending, drawing from
Mm-hmm.
imitation, copying someone else's work. I know a lot of new artists are kind of intimidated and don't want to, like you said, be called out, but that's actually a good learning lesson to get you practicing. And then, as you said, take and bring your own style into it however you need to, as in taking somebody who's actually a character in cosplay and drawing them, and then incorporating your style into that, instead of saying, okay, constantly copying and constantly imitating.
Exactly.
But you can start with the copying and imitating.
Everyone, I think, should start, but give credit to the artist that you're drawing from. Say that, this is a Batman. Check out my Jim Lee Batman. Instead of just drawing and trying to put it out as your own, or even worse, trying to sell it off as your own. That's the one faux pas. But that's where I think everyone should start, because you need a foundation. If you like the way a certain artist draws, then gather from their techniques and then make it your own.
That's why I really love Periscope, is that you get to watch all kinds of artists. Mm-hmm. And the number of comic book artists alone is astounding, and every single one of them now I can watch and I can say, oh, okay, that looks more like DeMario's, this looks more like AJ's, because I've been watching you guys. Mm-hmm. But somebody who's just starting out, you start looking and watching, the Periscope videos where they're actually drawing. You can see the process,
of course,
and you're not at a finished product going, well, where do I start? Mm-hmm. I really love Periscope for that. Right. When you do your Periscopes, do you have a lot of people asking you questions about technique? Mm-hmm. And is that something that's common, or they're just like, oh, wow, pretty picture?
They do. They'll jump in and they'll say, "Oh, this is cool," and like the other aspiring artists will ask me questions. I don't know. I think it's I'm kind of like in the middle, 50-50. Like sometimes I do art tutorials. Sometimes I just draw because I'm having fun and I want to share it with other people. I don't strictly do one or the other. I try to set aside time for both. But I find that I personally get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I love that. You can get. What I really like is that Sorry.
I was answering a scope question.
Oh, that's okay. I love that you can have, young kids. I mean, that 14, 15 who are just starting out and being able to interact with a comic book artist who's been doing this for a little while and is a little bit more aware of what they're doing, how they're doing it, the techniques, the processes, and that kind of stuff. It's really kind of cool that you can do that. I have one last question. It's kind of like a loaded question.
Oh, geez.
Well, it's, what kind of a legacy would you like to leave this world with your work?
Oh my God. Man, you're asking the wrong person that. I don't really feel that I'm going to be that person who is going to make a difference in people's lives, which is like, sounds like so horrible, but I don't want to sound cynical or anything like that. But I mean, I don't really care what my work leaves behind as far as physical artwork, but I do care about like actual people, like saying, oh, hey, you know what, when I first started out drawing, AJ was a really good friend to me, and he told me whether it be like where I can buy art supplies or how to improve my techniques or things like that. That's what I care about more than who buys my work or what I'm kind of known for. Like that's the most important thing for me, is just that I was just remembered as someone who was helpful.
And honestly, I like that answer more than I want to sell a ton of work.
Okay. Yeah.
Because excuse me, as a creative myself, I love that I can impact people more in a way of helping them to be more of who they are, and as more of an artist, to bring more artists into the world, basically, than to sell a ton of paintings.
Of course, because we're not really big egotistical people. Like, that does come along with being an artist sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. So what I want to do, since that kind of wraps up our question section, I would love to be able to have you show us some of your work and tell us a little bit about, do you have like some progression? Like, do you have some work from when you were in high school?
I don't have the high school work, but I have some Post-its that I drew from when I first started drawing, and I thought it was awesome compared to now, where I see like 2-3 years later. And there's definitely a big improvement in that. So let me try to dig that up real quick.
Okay, good. I was going to say, show us that stuff. Show us, because that's what, some people think, oh, you just automatically have always been drawing this well. Well, no, we all grow, regardless of how long we've been doing this.
Exactly.
We all have our progressions of, and even when we're growing and we've got stuff, we still have days where, sometimes we'll draw something and you're like, what the heck was this?
Mm-hmm.
That one aside.
Here's like some of the Post-its that I've done. That's Star-Lord and Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, and Snake from Metal Gear, and Mobius, and that Daredevil I really don't like. I just don't like the way the head came out and everything like that.
Okay. Wait. Stop.
Sure.
Stop. Because you're showing me these pictures and they look huge, but then you put your finger over there and I just realized that they're small. Now, you said Post-its, so you're talking like
3x3.
3x3 Post-its. They're small.
Yeah. Yeah, these are just Post-it notes.
Oh, that guy's so creepy. Sorry. the twirly face guy. Oh my God, I can't stand that guy. He's so creepy. Those are really cool. And so I'm such a small little space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I paint big pieces. So
but here's like more of like realism and things like that. This is Daryl from Walking Dead. Is that in shot or no?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's scary, but it's absolutely beautiful. It looks just I love it.
Thank you. And I do if you can see like the characters from South Park, that's Butters. I don't want to scare you, so I'll try.
No, show me all the stuff. We've got people here who want to see this stuff, so show us.
Here's a terrible Spider-Man that I did.
So what makes him terrible?
I just don't like he's swinging right now, so he should have more of like a bent over action. Like he's just too stiff and upright here. His head should be more kind of bent over in the direction that he's swinging because he's getting a pumpkin bomb thrown at him. So
so then that brings us back to knowing action, how people move, and that kind of perspective, all that kind of good stuff, which is a great thing for young artists to learn.
Oh, of course, yeah. And you know what? The way I did that was I get a lot of art books. Like I go to Barnes and Noble and I kind of use it as my own personal library, and I'll like flip through stuff and draw right there because they have like a cafe. So I recommend hanging out at the bookstore, borrowing a book, and drawing some stuff while you're there. Watch a lot of YouTube videos.
YouTube is amazing. They have so much stuff on there. It's astounding. You can learn so much if you can't get out, move or whatever. In bookstores, we have to search those things out now, but there are still bookstores out there that you can go and sit in, get a book out, and start, take your sketchbook with you. And as AJ said, practice sketching. Practice every chance that you get.
The cool thing I like about like the social media is like I like how I've made friends on Instagram, and then like if there are any fans of my work, they can actually go over to Periscope and watch me draw and ask me questions. It's I really like that aspect of it. I think it's really cool, and I do that with some of my favorite artists as well.
Waiting for you to show us more art.
I'm flipping through stuff. So this was a book. They still have prices on them because we were selling this at the art show, but that's a Swamp Thing. I put a lot of detail into this guy, and then these were all things that we did for Inktober. Are you familiar with Inktober?
Yes.
Jake Parker came up with like 30 days of just inking sketches.
So these are all ones that you've done in one sitting, one day, an hour, 2 hours. How long do they usually take you? Or are they
my pencils are probably like 20 minutes to a half hour because I used to do really tight pencils, but then I got a little more loose, and I'll tighten things up in the inking stage. Like when I'm inking, I don't always follow the same lines that I drew when I was penciling, because I may see something about it that I like or I dislike.
So pencil sketch first, then ink, then color.
Exactly right. Yeah, and then there's a time between penciling. There's a time between inking and coloring, because some of the materials that I use, the Copic markers, you can't really go right into coloring, because you're gonna smudge your inks. If that makes sense, you have to take a little time, let it dry.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, and I'm sure if someone is wondering, then they can contact you and they can ask you.
Of course. Thank you for doing this. I'm having an awesome time.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Again, with AJ, you can find him at Sonic Ninja, Sonic underscore.
Yeah, that's right.
Sonic underscore Ninja.
Damn it, forget the underscore, woman.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. Sonic underscore Ninja on Instagram. Sonic underscore Ninja.
Yeah.
And then brackets AJ on Periscope.
Which I hate my social media name, by the way. I hate that it has an underscore in it. I hate that it's like you can't Google me and I come up right away. So I recommend anyone out there that wants to have come up with a name, do something that's like going to be the first thing that comes up in like one of those generators, Google, like things like that, you know. So that's some huge advice that I can give you if you want to like take your stuff to the next level and be like an actual artist that for a living, you know.
So how would you do that though? I mean, use your name or
Use your name or something that like put a couple of words together and then Google search it and see what comes up. If nothing comes up, then you know that you found something that you can use. And then once you start posting things to the various social medias, the internet knows about it. So if anyone says, "Oh, I want to find Sonic Ninja," they'll type Sonic Ninja, and I'll be like, I'll come up or my work will come up. If you type Sonic Ninja, like a video, for me, a video game character comes up. So it's unless I can become more popular than a Sega video game character, it's gonna be tough.
someday, someday it'll happen. It will happen.
Thank you.
AJ, thank you so much. I appreciate this. This was absolutely so much fun. I love seeing your work as always. It's
Thank
always
you.
spectacular.
I do it for you. I do it for you guys.
I know, and that's why that's why I wanted to interview you, because you everything that you do is for your following, for your art, you know, the people who are following you, the people who look up to you, kids, adults, doesn't matter. You know, we ask questions, we want to know more about you, and you're more than willing to talk about your art and what you do. And you're constantly learning, and I love that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I had a blast. I know we had a hard time getting together, but so much fun.
No, it was great. This was my first interview, and I hope to do many more. Hope you had fun. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out.
Okay, and I'm going to turn off the Google.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later.